So good afternoon, September the 25th, 2014. This is CISG114, Section 1, Web Technology and Live. Today is day number 10 in week number 5. So let's get started. Good afternoon, welcome back to this class. CISG114, Section 1, Web Technology and Live. Today is day number 10. Now if you looked at the Y screen, I have published the result of the student experience questionnaire earlier this morning, and when you look at the result, it's very encouraging. 20 out of 30 students in this class has responded to this questionnaire. We have a 66.7% return rate, and of course I hope that all of you should have done this particular questionnaire. If you have not done this, you have already fulfilled your right to air your opinion. So don't miss the chance next time, okay? So I'm going to go through this result with you. So when you look at the first questions, we have only one person disagree, 4 persons slightly disagree, but we have 15 students who is for this particular question. So it's not too bad, all right? So we are designing the scores in accordance to the GE program, Intended Learning Outcomes. So we look at the second question. We have 3 persons who disagree, but 17 students who say they support that. So it also is a course designed in accordance with the course learning objectives. So I got the majority support for this. And for questions number 3, we have 3 persons disagree, but we have 17 persons who are supporting this. So the course is going with the course intended learning outcome, particularly in the second learning contract, okay? In the second learning contract, you need to select as a team 2 side notes and not more than 3 in order to work it out in your artifacts. Questions number 4, we have 4 persons who disagree, but we have 16 persons who support that. So this general education course has been delivered according to the course schedule based on the syllabus, okay? And let's take a look at questions number 5. So have you studied our general education handbook? Now, 1 person say completely, 13 say more than 50%, and 6 said less than 50%. Have you studied the course syllabus as suggested by your instructor in the first day of class? 10 persons say more than 50%, 9 persons said less than 50%, and only 1 student who admitted he has not read the syllabus at all. Okay? So which part of the syllabus have you studied? 7 on part A, 6 on part B. Most of you have studied part C. That is a very encouraging sign. This is the part I would like most people to take a good look at it, and it is very much consistent. And 3 persons for OBTL and 3 persons for the outline. It's not too bad. Now, which part of the syllabus is the most difficult? Looks like it's the OBTL details. It's also here you can see a lot of the variations of how we want the classes, okay? And then, have you studied the course, your Moodle site, completely? 2 persons between 3 and 4 weeks, block 7. Fewer than 3, 7, and fewer than 2, 4. When you add them together, so 9 plus 7, 16 is 20, okay? So do you agree that having studied the General Education Handbook could help you understand better this course learning design according to the proper syllabus? Well, 7 say disagree, and then I have 13 who said agree. So it's not too bad. Actually, the latest editions of the GE Handbook, to me, is not as good as the previous one. This is very true. Let's continue. Do you agree that having studied the published course syllabus, including the course design philosophy, could help you understand better the day-by-day classroom and online activities of this GE course. Now I got 3 disagree, and I have 17 who will support that. So that means reading the syllabus help you understand our day-to-day course running. And do you agree the proper course syllabus, including the OBTL details, have been well organized to help you understand better the day-by-day classroom and online activities of this GE course? Only 4 students out of 20 say no, 16 say yes, so it's not very bad. Do you agree that the blended learning format, face-to-face plus online through the Moodle environment as well as the website, as practiced in this GE course via your Moodle site, has been helpful to your understanding the day-by-day classroom, learning through discussions, activities of this GE course? So you can see 4 persons say no, 16 say okay. So, do you agree the weekly electronic resources posted online in our Moodle course environment as practiced in this GE course have been helpful to your understanding the context and content of this GE course? So slightly disagree is 2, slightly agree, and strongly agree 18. So it's very useful. In that case, it's something that we cannot live without it. Do you agree that a weekly dual format of interactive lecture and student sharing in class, including the forum discussions, since the first week of the semester could help you understand the context and content of this course? So again, we have 18 students who support this, only 2 students disagree. So it's not a bad sign that this is running in a format that is adaptable to most of the students. This is just the informations for weekly informations that most of you have already studied. Do you agree that this GE course has helped you participate actively in class so far? So we have 6 persons who say no, we have 14 persons who say yes. Okay? Do you agree that this GE course could help you develop your own independent learning? Again, we have in this subject area for 6 persons who say no, we have 14 persons who say yes. That's not too bad. Do you agree that this GE course could help you understand the related knowledge applications in everyday life situations? We have 6 disagree and we have 14 agree. Okay, so that is also important. Do you agree that this GE course could help you think critically about the course topics? We only have 2 persons who disagree and 18 persons who agree. Do you agree that this GE course could help you develop your communication skills? Only 1 person disagree, but 19 students say yes. Do you agree that the instructor of this GE course could help to learn? We have 1 person disagree, and again 19 students say okay. So thank you very much for this support. Which item below have you completed and submitted for learning contract 001? A lot of you have already indicated a number here. Now, this is an important question. Have you measured the amount of time you spent completing this learning contract 001? 14 of you say yes, only 6 did not measure. Then, let's take a look at the time per week you spent completing a learning contract. Now, between 2 to 4 hours, 7. Between 4 to 6 hours, 3. More than 6 hours, 10. Well, indeed, if you look at the syllabus and look at the time management area, I suggest that you spend 6 hours roughly per week to manage your work. So basically, this 2 is the majority, 13. Okay, this is a small number of people doing less than 6 hours out of 20 of you. How many hours have you actually spent completing your learning contract 001? Now I do discover that many Supermans here. Now you can actually finish the whole learning contract in 2 hours. Wow, that's wonderful. And then 3 hours. Sorry, I cannot count. Okay. And then 20 hours, more than 6 hours. So this is something, if you look at the time management suggestion, if you spend 6 hours a week over the past 4 weeks, it's about 24 hours. But out of the 24 hours, we don't really use all the 24 hours to do your learning contract once artifacts, because you need to do selections at the end. So basically, if you condense all of your work from concentrating on doing the artifact for learning contract 1 without doing the selections, 6 hours, it's okay, you just do it in 1 week. But that is not the intentions of the learning contract. The learning contract expect that each one of you should have done 6 hours per week, and then use that as the basis to look at your learning experience and how much you can manage. So I should expect more in the area of between 15 to 24, or something more than 24, because you actually have to spend time doing it. But many of you are very honest. If you spend fewer than 3 or 4, you indicated here, that means you're actually doing homework rather than developing your learning ability. The reasons why you're doing homework, you know, is important because you want to use it as to obtain your score. But still, the many here who understand the meaning of the exercise behind is how you can develop yourself and master your ability. So don't become the trick of your own self, okay? So sometimes we're so much biased into producing homework to satisfy the requirement of course, rather than focusing on how we can use that piece of homework as an occasion to develop our own ability. So when you look at things like this, week 1, almost most of the people have done this. Week 2, only 4. Week 3, number 8, and week 4, 5. This is expected because starting from week 3, I tell you that you should get started doing your homework because you have to submit something by the end of next week. And then most of the people select week number 3 as the reading list where you extract your topic, okay? So this is something informational, I can skip it, most of this. And then IBL is very interesting. How much do you understand about IBL? Could you express it by yourself? Do a lot of reports as IBL. No, this is not IBL, this is your personal experience. You can condense it in doing only one report, but doing a lot of thinking, note-taking, and development of your skill. Find questions and then answers. Okay. So now that is much more sensible. During LC001, we're learning in the class and getting the information. We should know how to absorb the information and transform it to be our knowledge. This is very interesting. This is a process when we are learning. When we're doing the submissions, we may find the academic resource in Interactive Library. We should know how to choose the keystone and analyze. Finally, use our homework to sum up the resource so that we can finish the submission effectively. IBL is the basic ability when we are learning. Although it's not really up to the point, but it's getting into the directions. And then number 3, I read the information given by professor on the internet. When I was completing my assignment, I also search on the internet so as to find out the information for what I want. It's fantastic, but I should continue learning and improve my skills. So this is an experience sharing, which is very much related to these students' experience of IBL. IBL needs student learning actively, and it needs to be learned to work together. We discussed and researched some questions, discussions, okay? When I'm doing the learning contract 001, I meet some problem that I do not understand. Then I would search information on the intellect. I think the core learning activities in IBL is we should try to solve problems and find the answer through the intellect by ourselves. But of course, we need to do a lot of analysis. And then discussing with partner, research, ask professor questions, explore more by ourselves. That is IBL, very interesting. I follow the instructions and start doing the assignment. That is IBL. Okay? The process of IBL, reading and looking through the knots of information from the intellect, Wiki, UFOdo, and Brox. After that, collect the information and integrate them to get what I want. The core, learn to discuss topic with peer members and other students, adapt to a logical manner. Well, it's a very interesting way to interpret your understanding of IBL. Week 3's topic, I finished this reading and talk with my partner at last, write a journal, that is my IBL. IBL is active learning, can be via PowerPoint, online, or other ways. It mainly encourages students to develop the brain, come up with some questions related to the lecture they learn. In LC001, Professor gave us a chance to talk about what is this. After watching a sub-video discussions this with our learning partner, students find the answers by themselves. Okay, that is a very interesting way to express it. This is a generic patterns of learning activity. I search for information and discuss with classmates, discussions and looking through the website. That is the experience of IBL. So during this first learning contract, I should go through the resources under the topic questions it provides. And I think this is the practice of IBL because I should find out the definitions and finish the contract on my own or discuss it with my partner. Now that is very interesting. You still remember that. Now let's take a look at what did you like most about the design and content of this course. Video. Okay, that's very much consistent with the other class. All nice and I can learn about more. During the lessons we can watch the video which is about a topic. After that we have a discussion and sharing about our feelings and comment. I would like learning by activities. It's interesting process where we are learning. Okay, discussions. Alright. The relaxing atmosphere in the classroom, good. Actually, I spent a lot of time in this first learning contract. This is what you like, okay? Align the topic of 3 to choose from and how they relate to our everyday lives. Very good. Align the design of video and reading list and content of information privacy with CISG114. Reading lists have clear information. Align the design and content of this course because I watch many videos and I can have group discussions with my learning partner. I think that is good. Okay, that is very, very encouraging. And then during the class, we will not just listen to the instructor. We can watch video about the topic and discuss in a group with our classmates and learning partner. We share ideas and opinions with each other. It can help us think more. Very good. It could help us think more. Areas widely covered. Good. The fact that we can interact with each student and teacher. Okay. I do not know because I haven't been very clear about this. Okay, this is what you like. I like the part to put on my thinking with other students. Very good. Cooperate with classmates, learn an extra knowledge, not in class, improve skill of presentations and communication. The video the professors take and we can review. Okay, that means the class video. Discussions together and share. Okay, that's good. The video that is provided each week I think is more intelligible than the passages on the website when explaining topic or concept. Have not. Okay, you might have not. What do you think needs to change? More funny. More funny. I think can do more discussions. Okay. We feel confused at submission since this is the first time for us to finish. Explain more detail can clear our mind. I think we will do the best at next submission. Okay. Too much assignment for me in case I have no time to focus on my GE course, I guess. CE course, maybe. I don't know. Lovely. Alright. Please give more time on doing assignment. Alright? So I would prefer if not so many videos will be given for us to watch. Actually, these videos are not compulsory. You don't need to watch them all. Because it's a lot and we do not know which one to watch first. It does not matter. Just pick anyone to start with, okay? I think there is nothing to change in the design and content of this GE course so far. I think some important things to consider to use Chinese because I discovered many classes have no idea about what should they do. Well, as I said, how to class, alright? I think it's okay and don't need to change anymore, alright? I think we can have more group discussion during classes. Oh sure, increased amount of knowledge. Increased amount of knowledge. So does it mean I should put more knowledge there? Is not enough? Okay, I tried, alright? How to measure the amount of knowledge? Oh, someone told me this morning, it's very interesting. Sir, we normally measure the amount of knowledge in any class by the number of PowerPoint we receive. Well, because PowerPoint contains knowledge. Since you don't use a lot of PowerPoint, so your course is not knowledgeable. So I said, okay, have you checked out the learn and practice? Where is learn and practice? So the learn and practice for learning content. And then you discover, oh, there's so many PowerPoint. Yeah, I have not read it. Sorry. Okay. Make the assignment less complicated. Okay. After I understand, save again. After I understand, save again. Okay. So that means 2 times at least. All right. Nothing now. Okay. Make clear the assignment, what should we do and how to do it. I expect it would be like a little bit workload. Okay. I try to make sure that you understand it in my teacher's message and also the discussion forum. Use too much YouTube video. Oh boy. I use 1 or 2 every time. Maybe easy English for language. Easy English. Easy English. Okay. No. Okay. So, all right. It's very interesting to read comments. Give us more time to do our assignment. Okay. So it depends on what are you going to do. All right. So I love this comment because you're very frank and I can really understand your feeling. So what should I do? Okay, we need to work together, as I said. So it's very important that you air your voice. Now this time we have 20 students. I hope next time we have at least 20-something students. Okay, because I still do not know what you think for the 10 of you did not complete the experience questionnaire. Because it's very important that we keep in touch with one another. All right. So now let's come to today's class. All right. Today's class, we should start with a very important video. All right. And this video should be an important video to put together some responses to your responses here. And let me give you this video. All right.
student.
So what is active learning in the context of refractive learning, and what is IBL in the context of active learning, and what is IBL in the context of refractive learning. The idea is we used to be on this particular small triangle, but now we extend this to include this one, and we know that this is much more important than that because that is very much student-centered. What is meant by student-centered? To ensure that you have the ability to learn rather than taught to learn. Okay, so let's get back to our class. Today is day number 10. If you look at this week's topic, we should have covered photo sharing on our last class, but we're going to do it now, which is topic 1. Then we're going to move on to podcasting, social bookmarking, and reserving our assets for an interesting IBL on job. So let's get started with photo sharing.
When asked what should be saved in a fire, along with family and pets, people often choose photos. If photos mean a lot to you, it's time to learn why keeping them on the web makes sense. This is online photo sharing in plain English. As you know, cameras and photography have changed. What used to appear on paper now appears on computers and phones. No matter the format, we still love our photos, and now they have new powers. But first, let's be practical. These days a fire may not be your biggest worry. A computer failure can destroy thousands of memories. You can avoid this by keeping your photos backed up on the internet. A number of sites make it inexpensive and easy for you to upload your photos for safekeeping. Now, because photos can be uploaded to a website, all sorts of cool things are possible. To make our point, let's look at the old way. You visit the Grand Canyon and take beautiful photos. You get them developed, and a few days later add them to a photo album that sits on a shelf. Few people see them, and it's a pain to find a specific photo in all those albums. Boo! Now, let's look at the new way, with a popular service I use called Flickr. You visit the Grand Canyon and take beautiful photos with a digital camera. Once you're home, you move the photos onto your computer and then upload them to the Flickr website. You just click Upload, find the photos on your computer, and upload them to the web for safekeeping. Ah, sweet peace of mind. Yay! But it doesn't stop there. You need to make sure that it's easy to find photos in the future. Along with adding titles, you can add keywords or tags that describe the photo. You might use tags like Grand Canyon, Arizona, Park, Scenery, 2007 to describe this photo. Each of these tags becomes a way for you to find photos in the future. Just click a tag and 1,000 photos become a few related ones. Now, once your photos are online and findable, it's time to look at another fun part of online photo sharing, the actual sharing. You can choose to make your photos public or private. It's up to you. Private is like a photo on your wall. Few see it. But public is like taking your photos to a party. They become a representation of you and offer a way to make friends. So, try sharing your online photos with the public. Here's what to expect. Friends and even strangers may leave comments on your photos. You can see which of your photos are most popular, and you may even discover that you're more motivated to take photos because you want to share them with the world. So, photo sharing sites like Flickr do two things really well. One, they keep your photos safe, organized, and findable. And two, they make photo sharing fun by making photos social. At the very least, back up your photos online. But if you're ready for fun, open your photos to the world and start to feel the love. I'm Lee Lefevre, and this has been Online Photo Sharing in plain English. For more detailed resources and videos about technology, security, mobility, and marketing, visit CenturyLink.com/SMB-resources.
So here we are. Remember, in the second learning contract, the distinctions from the first learning contract is we add into it the basic requirement that you need to take into account the course intended learning outcomes. And if you pay attention to our course websites, you know that we have 6 course intended learning outcomes. So when we look at the 6 course intended learning outcomes, you know that in this second learning contract, as I suggest to you, do 1, 2, but no more than 3 important course intended learning outcomes. So let's go back to the course intended learning outcomes and help you to review some of this. Here we are, we have 6, alright? So the first one is conduct this course to make sense of IT in today's knowledge society. Now, how do you demonstrate that your team and members in your team is able to do this? Okay, through your report, through your personal blog, and through your discussion forum, and we can see that you were able to do something closer to the scores. But you need to select a topic that is closest to this IT in today's knowledge society. You may choose this as one of the course intended learning outcome in your second learning contract. The second thing is compare different Web 2.02 to perform research, engage in collaborations, and to participate in communications. Now, one important Web 2.02 to perform research is the RSS. You select the source of the research area you're interested in, you subscribe to it, and so every day when there is something new, they will push to you. To engage in collaborations, something you have to do together with the people around you or away from you, but together you can write something or think together. Wiki is a very good medium for you to engage in collaborations. We introduced it this past Monday. And participate in communications. You know Facebook, you know MySpace, you know LinkedIn. These are social networking sites or software or media where you can participate in communications. Well, you can also choose the second course intended learning outcome by demonstrating that you know how to subscribe to an RSS site, you know how to work together in a wiki environment, which the Moodle environment provides one for you, and you can also communicate with one another using Facebook or LinkedIn. So if you are able to demonstrate this and write this down, choose the second one, okay? Yet, once you have chosen the course intended learning outcome, still remember, you have 3 weeks reading lists where you have questions. And you must choose the questions according to the directions of your course intended learning outcome. And that is the challenge for the second learning contract. When we talk about self-regulated learning, you need to set goal first. And your goals are to be set based on your choices of the course intended learning outcome. And once the goals have been set, you need to select your questions from the reading list according to the goals you set here. Now, when we look at the third course intended learning outcome, it's that discussed and illustrated use of rap blocks to keep a learning journal. You have been doing that, or refracted practice, because you start with a notebook, you do discussions with your friend, learning popular, you write a report, and finally you publish a personal refracted block already. Wikis to facilitate project collaborations, very much close to the second course intended learning outcome, but much more specific. Instead of just compare, you discuss and you give examples of this, okay? The wikis to facilitate project collaborations, photo sharing, we just talked about this, and social bookmarking, we have to talk about it in about 5 minutes, to share resources over the web, and RSS, okay, to access frequently updated content on the internet. So look at that as very much similar to one another, except for the action verb, all right? And silo number 4, use social networking software to create personal profile for specific purposes. Those of you who have Facebook account or account in the QQ, you know that you need to create a personal profile first before you can use them. Share messages with friends inside the Facebook. It's easy. Well, you can create a personal group, a close group. Join network for school. Well, our school even have a Facebook account as the university account, Facebook account, or work. Manage different informations open for sharing, where you can do a lot of work, particularly speaking in the context of your Mahara account. So you know that all of these you can choose because you are able to get in touch with those technology very easily and without even spending a dime, a penny, and you can try this out. Okay, let's take a look at silo number 5. That's a little bit advanced. Silo number 5 means differentiate the application context of metadata, the category, the tags, tagging, making category, and taxonomy, the category themselves, match up the mixing, the remixing of different applications provided by different internet applications vendor, like Google, to create customized applications. And you use Google Drive, okay? and e-learning support for course management such as Moodle, the social web such as the Facebook, e-business models such as Amazon, or the eBay, or the Taobao, and other web services such as e-government in Macau. We do have an e-pass for every person living in Macau, be it permanent resident or temporary aliens residing in Macau. And number 6 is work productively as part of a team and communicate and present information effectively in written, your report, oral discussions, or classroom presentations or participations, electronic form, in a collaborative environment like in a wiki. So you have all of these wonderful course intended learning outcome, and I'm sure each one of you is able to choose some of this. Now in your team, in the first learning contract, you're not required to do this choosing, okay? But in the second learning contract, you are obliged to choose 1, 2, but not more than 3. And then once you've chosen this, you need to demonstrate that you can achieve them and write report, discussions, blog, to demonstrate that you're doing things along this way. Okay, so let's go back. Now, I would like to make sure that you're well informed of the topics that we are going to discuss with you. So let's go back to day number 10. Now, you have just watched the very simple introductions of online photo sharing. So what does it mean? Well, if I were a member of your team, I might suggest that now let's take some photos of this new campus, or maybe photos of ours working together as a team, and then we post these photos on a Flickr account, because by doing that, we can demonstrate that this team knows how to set up a Flickr account, how to post photos there, and use those photos as the resources for our work for this second learning contract. So that is the topic we finished with online photo sharing in plain English. So we come to podcasting in plain English. What is meant by a podcast? Well, you know what is meant by broadcast. So every evening at 6:30, you can watch TVB news and you can watch the news. It's a broadcast. Everybody listen to the news. But podcast is a different concept. News could be generated 24 hours a day, and new news story could be pushed to you when it is available. You do not need to wait until 6:30 or 7 o'clock to watch the news. So such information, when it is heard as a voice record, is called podcast. When it is watched as a video record, it's called vodcast. And so now let's go to podcast in plain English.
Remember the good old days of TV and radio? Everyone would gather around to be entertained. Shows were broadcast at specific times, and if you weren't there on time, you missed it. Broadcasts disappeared into the ether. Well, things have changed. This is podcasting in plain English. Here's the big idea. Thanks to podcasting, showtimes don't matter. When a new show is created, podcasting gives you a way to capture it and take it with you to watch or listen to later, usually for free. It makes shows personal and available on demand. That's what makes it different from broadcasting. It works by setting up a connection between a website and a computer so that new shows automatically show up when available. Here are 3 reasons why podcasting is becoming so popular. The first is that anyone can do it. No satellites, radio towers, or studios needed. Most people only need a microphone or video camera, a computer, and a connection to the web. With these things in place, they can make their own show that is open to everyone. It also means that there's a wide variety of podcasts. Whether it's investment advice from Wall Street or your neighbor's gardening show from down the street, there's likely a podcast for you. The second is subscriptions. This means that if you visit a website that has a great podcast, you can click a button and subscribe to receive future shows automatically. All you need is a free tool called a podcatcher, like iTunes, that acts as a way to capture the shows. The shows become yours to listen to or watch as much as you want, where you want. The third reason is gadgetry. You can download a podcast onto a computer, but you can also download it to an MP3 player or other portable device and take it with you. And remember, podcasts work on all sorts of devices, not just iPods. So, let's look at how Jason uses podcasts. He uses the web every day, rides the bus to work, and loves Japanese culture. Recently, he found a podcast by a Western couple living in Tokyo. After a quick listen, he subscribed to their podcast from their website. That night, as he slept, a new show downloaded onto his MP3 player. The next morning, he was on the bus, listening to his new friends in Tokyo, imagining what it would be like to eat the freshest sushi in the world. Podcasting made it happen. It made it possible for the couple in Japan to create a show for only a few yen. It made it possible for Jason to subscribe to their show and take it with him. Podcasting means we don't have to depend on traditional media. Now, everyone can have a voice that shows their true colors. I'm Lee Lefevre, and this has been Podcasting in Plain English. For more detailed resources and videos about technology, security, mobility, and marketing, visit CenturyLink.com/SMB-resources.
So here we are. How do we produce podcasts by ourselves? Well, basically, if we do not get involved video, we can just concentrate on doing a voice recording. Now, how do we go to do a voice recording? Do we need to buy a recorder? Well, something very traditional, we need to do it. But today, we can just go to a particular website, and the websites could help record our voice. And one of the example, what's a website is called for car routes, if I remember correctly. So this is called the car routes. Let's see. This one, for car routes. This is online voice recorder. So what it does for us in a particular computer, it's when you go to this website, they are ready to record your voice. You just need to click this and make sure the microphones in your notebook computer or PC computer works, and then they are going to do this. Now let me try to see if I could do some recording here. Okay. So I do have a camera here, but I do not mean to use my camera. So let us try to see if the recording is going on. I believe it's going on now. So this is CISG114, Section 1, Web Technology and Light, on September the 25th, 2014. And I'm going to stop recording now. So when I stop recording, I would like to listen back to my recording. So I just say, listen. It's being recorded, but the playback is not as desirable as what I want. The noise is very strong, but anyway, when you go home, you try it, it's much better. So by the time, if I believe it's good enough, so what I need to do is I need to save it. So I click here to save it. So when I click here to save this, it could be saved as the embedded voice. There's a link here. If I click email, I can type in my email address and the link will be sent to me. And when I click on the link, I can listen to my recording. So this is a typical example of a podcast. So if you want to share in class next time with your podcast, you can use it to just to say something 1 to 2 minutes as what you're standing here to say, and you pray it, okay? So it's good enough for us to understand. So, oh, yes. Isn't it this class that I spot one of you doing your blog last time with a picture, and I have to invite someone to show us the picture? Who's this guy? Oh, yes. Are you ready to show us how to do the picture today? Okay, in a minute. Don't worry, take a break. We'll give you time, all right? I have to remember that this is a very important chance to give to students. All right, so you know this. It's very important. And let's get back. So this is an example of podcast in action using the web tools, which is free of charge. And let's come back to another very interesting tool. Now, another very interesting tool is called Camtasia Studio. The Camtasia Studio is able to record the screen of your computer together with the voice input. So one of the best things about the Camtasia Studio is if you produce a PowerPoint and you want to have your voice over the PowerPoint, so you can actually open the PowerPoint here, start from the first page to the last page. You can speak into the microphone to explain to your audience what this PowerPoint is all about, slide by slide. Say in 5 minutes time, and then you stop your Camtasia Studio. Everything on screen together with your voice will be recorded like a digital story. And then you can upload it to YouTube and everybody can listen to you. Okay? So that is a very interesting way to do podcasts. But the Camtasia Studio is not free. If you download it from the Camtasia site, you can just use it for 1 month as a trial software. If you want to continue to use it, you need to pay. Okay? And it's about $100 per license, well, almost 200. Okay? So that is a piece of very good software. And then the next thing we would like to introduce to you is called the social bookmarking. Okay, social bookmarking. So let's go for social bookmarking.
It's just too much. Did you know that there are over 15 billion web pages? To make sense of it all, we need ways to pluck out the best pages and save them for later. We have choices. We could bookmark or add to favorites in our web browser. Nah, it quickly becomes messy. Plus, these bookmarks are tied to only one computer. This is the old way. There's a new way that doesn't use a browser. It uses a website. This is called a social bookmarking site, and the one we'll use today is called Delicious. It makes bookmarking more useful and fun. We'll focus on 3 things: how to get started with bookmarking, how bookmarks are organized by tags, and why this kind of bookmarking is social. First, go to delicious.com to sign up for a free account. While you're signing up, you'll see an easy way to add a couple of buttons to your browser. These are important. The tag button is how you'll add new bookmarks to the website. On any website, you can click tag to save that site as a Delicious bookmark. Easy. Consider this example. You're a teacher who often uses the web to find math lessons for 8th graders. You're overwhelmed by all the sites. There are just too many to remember. Using Delicious, remembering sites is as easy as tagging them. Here's one. Oh, nice. Perfect. Here's what happens when you tag a site. A new window opens and asks for more information. You can add keywords or tags that describe the site. These will help you find bookmarks later. You might tag this site Algebra, Best of, Tutorial, Math, and Homework. Then click Save to save it on the Delicious website. When you save a page like this, 2 things happen. First, the site is saved with all your other bookmarks on delicious.com. Second, the tags are saved in a list of all your tags. You just repeat this process for every site you want to save. This is bookmarking. Let's fast forward 2 months to make our second point, why tags are so important. Let's say you now have 100 bookmarked sites. Chaos, right? Well, since you added tags, you have a way to sort the bookmarks by the tags you assign. To find all the sites about algebra, you click the algebra tag and voila, 100 becomes 3. All your bookmarks are now more findable thanks to tags. But that's only part of the fun. Now, let's look at the social part of bookmarking to make our third point. Think about your fellow teachers. Couldn't they benefit from seeing your bookmarks? Well, they can. Delicious bookmarks are public. This means that your friends and peers can see your bookmarks and use your tags just like you. That's why this is called social bookmarking. Your bookmarks can benefit other people. Think about it this way. You start bookmarking algebra sites and your peers can see the interesting sites you find. Then, they start bookmarking too. Within a few weeks, a group of teachers are all bookmarking their favorite math websites, and because they're all public, everyone discovers new and relevant materials. Together, you create a network that produces a steady stream of interesting and useful websites, all organized by tags on the Delicious website. The lesson is that social bookmarking sites take a load of chaos and make it orderly. Remember, there are 3 steps to get started. First, go to delicious.com to sign up and add the buttons to your browser. Second, start bookmarking sites with tags. And third, be social. Notice how useful and fun other people's bookmarks can be. I'm Lee Lefevre, and this has been Social Bookmarking in Plain English on the Common Craft Show.
So once again, you have already watched another examples of the web tools in action. And these two help you to create social bookmarks among friends. And they could share theirs with you, and you could share yours with them. An example software demonstrated here come from Delicious. So what you can do is go to the Delicious website, sign up for an account, and then do it in your web browser's Delicious icon where you can start doing it. But today, we have the Firefox. The Firefox itself will help you do the same social bookmark. Have you ever tried that? Okay, then maybe you can select this as one of the examples for you to demonstrate. You can make it work in your team. Okay, so that is a very good, important application you can have some experience about. Once again, today, together with Monday, we have demonstrated and illustrated to you the use of blog, wikis, online, photo sharing, the podcast, as well as the bookmark. These is good enough for you to choose at least Sino number 2 and Sino number 3 in this course in learning outcomes. All right. Now I'm going to stop here, and I would like to see if our friend here could help to show you how to create graphics in the blog in case you are not aware of that. Wow, this is a very good sign to welcome you. All right. So would you please come here, or do you need some time? Okay. Yes. I'll leave the microphone here you can use. And I will be your cameraman. We need to thank you. Ken. We need to thank you, Ken, for doing this for us. Thank you, Ken. Thank you. Yes, you can use any window or browser according to your needs. Yes, you can log out and log in to yours. Okay. Yes. You may want to use the microphone. Thank you, Ken.
You can add some word and there and push this
Insert image, right?
and find the image in your computer.
Yes. You can try anyone. It's okay. It's my computer crash. No, it's not a crash, but actually it's I think it's the problem with the projector. The projector is turned off. You see that? There's a red line blinking instead of the green line. So maybe it's okay, Ken. If you cannot do it this time, we still can do it next time. Okay. Yeah, you see that the red line is blinking. It's not the problem. It's the problem with the projector. What Ken is going to show us is to use that functions to go to your computer to access any files of your choice, and then you put it over there and it should be there. Okay. The projector is not obeying order. Thank you, Ken. It's all right. Is it because of the water?
Can someone press the on and off button? You see that? You can step on top of the chair. Yes, this is okay. Can the boy do it instead of the girl? Yes. Yes. Anyone. Right. You see the green button?
Of course, during this time, if you have questions about the second learning contract, you can come ask me. Or you can ask the question. I can help answer your questions. Okay, you can see the screen. So, Ken, would you like to come here to do anything? We still have time, okay? Yes, we will make sure that you can earn your score here. We'll give you some big hands. We also need to give friends to Tony, right? Because of Tony's effort to turn on the dangerous machines at the sacrifice almost of his life. Okay, thank you, Ken. All right. It's a very useful features that you need to learn how to capture an image in your blog. Yes. Yes.
Your computer of the picture of the name.
Yes. Any pictures, okay.
You also can add some picture to give the people to download.
Right. So the block will contain that picture. It's very good. It's a very important technique. Thank you, Ken. So do you see how to do that? Thank you. All right, I'm going to stop today's class right here, but I will stay here to answer questions until the end, which is 5 minutes to 4. So that's it for today's class. Oh, you want to do some sharing? Oh, your PPT. Oh, it's already there, right? So you can share. Thank you. Very, very good, very good. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, we still have students who would like to share, so we have enough time. Please come up here. You want to do your PPT, all right? So let me log in for you, okay? Thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you. It's very important. So right here in the topic discussion forum, right here. Yes, I'm sorry. Actually, today we have many students who would like to share.
Yep, brilliant. So pass the time to you. We have enough time, all right? Sorry for that. So you have formed the teams already. We have 2 microphones there for your convenience. Not yet. The other microphone, try it. You just have to press on. That's it. Then make sure it works. It's off. Hello. 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 I think you need to speak. Speak. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon. I'm Winnie. I'm Nico.
I'm Martin.
Thank you.
And today our topic is information literacy. First, what is information literacy? It is the base ability of learning in all learning environment and all levels of education. It is general. Students will become more self-directed and able to identify, locate, evaluate, and effectively when they using the information. And why is information literacy important? Because we have many information all over the world, but not all information is available. Some is out of date or unreal. We should know how to choose the information that we can confidence in using information to make us create. Thank you.
Okay, now it's Yishun's turn.
What is information literacy? First, college students. So why should students learn all this? Because we want to remove the barriers to creativity, which are caused by the lack of understanding of the researcher side. We only want to introduce students to those skills, which will allow them to succeed in their chosen path. This is not just for college students, but all of us. So how will I use information literacy skills? Information literacy skills are used for academic purposes, such as research papers and group presentations. They are used on the job the ability to find, evaluate, use and share information, and it is an essential skill. We will also use these skills by participating fully in a democratic society as an informed citizen by understanding issues and voting. Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Hello. I will introduce to you the information ability. The ability includes search, collect, verify, organize, express, and reflect. Where can we find the useful information? From the internet, books, newspapers, and other sources. All of them are good ways. We should also pay attention to the useful information in our daily life and memorize it. Don't think it is easy. Most of us don't have the habit to observe things around us, not to mention collect it. Before we use the information, we should verify it to avoid the mistake. When we use the information, we need to organize it. Which is the most important and which parts do not need so detailed, then express it out. Let your article have the sense of hierarchy. The most important part is reflect information. When you use the information to build your own thought, then you really master this information. How can we improve the information ability? I think grasped the technique of network and form a habit to analyze information and have the creative thinking is good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Information complexity, no matter in work or study, for workers and students is an important ability. When we have a job, a project, that ability can make us finish the project more easily and quickly. Find the information you need is quite easy and free. Develop effective research strategy by selecting suitable search tools and use effective search techniques to obtain the best information. Also, you can write a blog and or upload your video on the internet to connect with the other people, and also it can be entertaining. Information and education. Not only students use information consistency, but also instructors use it for prepare their classes, search useful items for students to study. For example, discuss the journal assignment. Instructor has given the most suitable information for us, and we can search it quickly on the reading list. So in conclusion, information literacy and competency is essential for our daily life.
Thank you very much. You four have done a very good job. You coordinated very well. Thank you. Thank you. Now, before we close, I just remember to remind you that you have to name your team pair, okay, individually in the Dr. Vet's Q&A hotline for this week, okay? So in the Dr. Vet's Q&A hotline for this week, please indicate your team pair no later than this Saturday, okay? Right here, this is week number 5. Please do it here on Dr. Vet's Q&A hotline at the discussion topic. This is called my team pair, okay? And then write down your pair name here, okay? Maybe your pair XX, all right? So you say my team pair here, and then you just have to name here CISG11401, pair perhaps is YY, and then the 2 members of your pair so you have your pair. You need to add student ID plus student name, and then you do the same for the second persons in your pair. Then you do it for the other pair like this. All right. All right. So you have the 2 students' name. You put it here. In that case, I understand who you are, okay? Because I can see from your identity who you are. Then you report the two pairs in your team, and I will assign a team name to the two pairs to be formed into a team, okay? So please do that like this, everybody. Do this on this specific Dr. Ben's Q&A hotline for week number 5, no later than this Saturday evening, okay? So this is something you need to do. Come back here, you can already see this link. All right, I have to go because I need to return the classroom to the next class. I see you next Monday. But have I taken attendance today? Not yet, right? Let me double check. No. Let me quickly do it. Give you the time. All right. So Eva, thank you. Priscilla, thank you. Jackson, yes. Ken, yes. Jackie, thank you. Huan Yin, not here today. All right. Xiao, yes. And then Eric. Eric is here. Shanron, not here. Marty, not here. Okay. And then Winnie is here. Jeff, okay. Echo, thank you. And then Miranda, thank you. And then Dawn, not here. Jeffrey, thank you. Mickey, thank you. Sita, thank you. Annabella, not here. Jordan, thank you. Joel, not here. Gagi, thank you. Lucas, not here. Kaya, Jeff, all right. And then Cindy, thank you. Tony, thank you. Miko, sure. Ishan, yes. Sophie is there. Thank you very much. Sorry to rush you today a little bit. Are you here? Okay. All right. Who are you? Martin is here. All right. Shanron, are you here? Shanron. Okay. Lucas. I'm sorry. Thank you very much. See you next Monday.